If you're new to trading, the chances are you're making mistakes all the time. In fact, you're probably doing so many things wrong at this point that you don't even know what is actually a mistake or just the wrong way of doing something. But don't worry, everyone goes through that. That's just part of the learning process. Young Nicholas made all the mistakes under the sun and yet still managed to find a way to succeed. So if I can do it, you can do it. But there is one mistake that beginners make, which they really should try to avoid right from the start. This is a mistake I wish I didn't do because it cost me years of extra time before I became profitable. So if you're as smart as I think you are, you'll take this advice on board for yourself and avoid the pain. And in fact, I'm going to give you a plan so you can overcome this starting today. So stay tuned, fellow traders. If you were to ask other people, they might say that the biggest mistake is risking too much money, or maybe not using a stop loss, trading on a live account too soon, or not subscribing to this YouTube channel and hitting the like button. I tried. All valid reasons, but none of them are the biggest mistake. You see, all of these things and more can potentially be fixed by avoiding the biggest mistake of them all, not treating trading as though it's a skill. Now, if you ask me, well, if people aren't treating it as a skill, what are they treating it as? Then I'd have to say I don't entirely know. Some people treat it as the equivalent of starting your own franchise with someone else's system. Some people treat it as if it's some sort of computer game. Some people treat it as a much less exciting version of Las Vegas, like a casino. And some people treat it as a hybrid of all of those. But when you treat it as a skill, that's when the real magic starts to happen, right from when you first start learning. Let me explain what I mean. So imagine you were starting your own McDonald's franchise.
Franchise the damn thing.
What would you need to do? Of course, you'd have all the boring admin side, the work involved in actually establishing the business, acquiring the property, and so on. But for the actual process of being able to produce McDonald's food, you would need to understand how it's done. You'd need to understand the processes, the way you manage your staff, how to deal with your stock, and so on. Yes, you could call this learning, but it's more like understanding. You understand how it's done, and then you replicate it again and again and again.
There should be McDonald's everywhere.
So, quick question. Do you think that this is how you're approaching your trading? Let me know in the comment section. Do you think you're just trying to understand how it's done so you can replicate it, how someone else is doing it? Or do you think that you're learning trading as a skill? Let's look at that option. So imagine you have a kid and you're teaching them to play football. And to save any confusion, I mean English football, the real football. So you're teaching them to play football. What steps would you go through with them? I really doubt that you'd just explain how it's done and then throw them into a competitive football match. You wouldn't do that, would you? Unless you're a sociopath. You wouldn't just say, this is how you play football, now go and play with the big boys. Nuh-uh. Instead, you'd take them through certain phases. First, learning how to kick the ball. Then passing, crossing, shooting, positioning, heading, and so on. And that's because football is a skill. In fact, it involves a combination of different skills, much like trading does. And although you can learn by going straight into playing football matches and having someone explain things to you, you're not going to get as good as you possibly can. This is the same as trading. You don't need to learn how to kick a ball, but you do need to learn other skills. It comes down to the plan you use to learn. For this, we encourage our members to use a 3-phase plan. And this is something that we talk about in Module 3 of our free trading course, which is linked below. So make sure you're signed up. It's a free course. Now, the first phase in this 3-phase plan is all about learning the skills and concepts, both individually and eventually together as well. So you execute this phase through a demo account. No live accounts, just a demo account, because you're not interested in your profit or loss. So it doesn't matter if you're not opening profitable trades because that's not your focus. So you might as well use a demo account so you don't lose money. Instead, you're using this time to practice each thing separately, one by one. Whatever tools you decide to use, you're learning to execute them perfectly. Each one individually and then together. You're learning how the price reacts to different situations that you analyze and what this will mean for your trading. And by the end of this phase, you should understand each tool and each concept that you're using deeply, and to have gone through enough deliberate practice sessions to feel confident in any market situation using these tools. What most people do is rush this phase. They'll get a course or a book, go through each thing just once and think they know all of the tools and concepts just because they understood them as they were reading them or hearing about them. They then rush onto a live account and think they know everything they need to know, and soon realize that maybe they didn't know as much as they thought. It's the equivalent of reading about what a cross is in football, right? Learning how to perform a cross just by reading it and understanding it, and then going straight into a football match and thinking you'll be able to deliver crosses to the right people, and soon realizing that you can't. And unfortunately for me, that's what it seems like Arsenal have been doing recently. It's just, let's not go there. So phase one, your results are being measured based on your own progress as a trader and your understanding. When you're ready, you can move on to phase two. For most people, this will be between 3 to 6 months, depending on what you're learning, how long you're spending during each session, and how quickly you can actually learn. Some people learn quicker than others. Now, in phase two, we're still using a demo account, but this time it's about actual trading, your actual trading results. Yes, you're still learning, but now you're trying to bring everything together to execute trades that are correctly done and consistently, because in this phase, you're first being measured against your consistency. Can you consistently execute what you need to execute? If not, then maybe you need to go back into phase one to cover certain parts of your trading again, and maybe spend some more time doing deliberate practice on those specific elements of your approach that you realize you're not doing right. The second thing you're being measured against is your profit or loss. You see, you can't move on to phase three until you're A, consistent, and B, profitable. In other words, consistently profitable. And you have to achieve both of those things for a significant amount of time. For most people, this will be about 3 to 6 months again of being consistently profitable, but this will once again depend on how long you're trading during each session and the approach that you're using. But you have to be consistently profitable for that significant period of time, no major fluctuations. And then we get on to phase three. This is where you use a live account and try to repeat what you were doing in phase two on the demo account. So think of phase two like your training matches, okay, so training grounds, and phase three are your real competitive matches where your results matter. Now, although phase three is on a live account, it's still not yet full live trading. Because when you're in phase three, if things aren't going quite right, you can jump straight back into phase two or phase one and accept that you're not quite ready yet. You can continue working on your flaws before you continue again and push into phase three again. But when you're in full live trading, you have to accept that losses are part of trading, and you have to persevere through these losing times while simultaneously optimizing and ironing out any flaws. It's at that point you're fully committed through thick and thin. Of course, you can go back to the other phases if you need to, but you should only be going to that phase when you know that you've done everything you need to do to become a consistently profitable trader. So for most people, they'll move on to phase three after around 6 to 12 months. For some people, it might be longer, and that's absolutely fine. But by taking this approach, you'll feel confident that you're absolutely ready when you do take that step into live trading. Because you're not replicating someone else's system or someone else's approach as if you're starting a franchise. Instead, you're learning how to trade as a skill using a specific approach. And you'll be ready for any different market activity that's thrown your way. Except flash crashes, of course. Ain't nobody ready for flash crashes. So guys, if you start treating trading as a skill, you'll be much better prepared for live trading. And you'll become a great trader in the most efficient way possible. It's a much more accelerated route to success than what most people are encouraging you to do and what most people think is the right way, which is just to rush through everything. This is the fastest way to succeed in trading, by taking the correct approach. So to understand more about how to prepare for learning to trade in the right way, check out module 3 of the free course that's linked below. And if you've made it this far in the video, then leave a comment below letting me know which phase you think you're in right now, phase 1, 2, or 3. And get that trading finger out and click that like button if you found this video useful. If you want something to watch next, then try one of the videos around here. They're all really good ones, and I will see you in the next video, traders. Thanks for watching.